Hey, what's up? It might look like I'm hiding behind the mic. I'm not. Justin gave me some pointers on how to use the mic, so we're going to try that. And until I can get a stand to raise this laptop a bit higher, it's going to look like I'm hiding behind the mic, but I'm not. Just so I do that rather than if the mic looked like it was weirdly placed in this video. But in this video, just covering like some of the Sapphire Steel lists that I saw and I quite liked, to be honest with you. I still think the deck's got some life in it, and I think a lot of people want to play Whole New World before it rotates out. And of course, I think I'm going to lose cards like Mr. Smee and stuff. I think for different environments, I think for like store champs, maybe as a very interesting pick in 2 game format. It still has lots of fun stuff you can use in there, like Quill into Tinkerbell. I think answers a lot of these aggressive decks as well. Like you can lock down a Shadow Dogs or lock down a Amber Steel aggro, and you can still use all your control things. You can still get massive amounts of ink, and the decks are still completely like optional. Of course, myself, like you've seen, I've been posting a lot more about Amber Steel aggro. That's generally because I've just been enjoying that playstyle. If you could see my progression from Sapphire Steel ramp to Kiwi to Amber Steel aggro, that's sort of like naturally where I progressed, and now we've got the cards for it. I really just enjoy the deck. But I think overall, I'd still vouch for these. I'm still going to do Kiwi content because I still love that deck as well. That's always going to have a place in my heart. And Ramp BS as well. I haven't played that for a little bit of time. I haven't played that in a competitive environment for a little bit of time, but I still think that's got a lot of options. So I asked the community like what lists are out there, and this was after I saw Impact TCG was winning an event with his list, and I thought, yeah, I'll just harbor up some so people can have a look and sort of make their pick if they want to still play it. And definitely, like I say, if you're comfortable in it, I think people would mainly fear the like the very well veteran trained Amber Sapphire Steel wheel player more than like the brand new just picked up Churner Dogs doesn't know the combos player. I still think it has a lot of merit to it. So this is just my list to begin with. This was like I just kind of wanted to 4x all the cards that I really liked right now. So I almost wanted to get for 4 desperate plans, but we started only with 3. Which is sort of fine, I hope. And we've got 4 Arthurs in there and 4 Bell because I really want to get that Bell down turn 1. I'm finding that there's just a lot of decks really where you just basically every deck can do a high roll right now. Like you've got Green Steel doing their high rolls. They've always had their Diablos. They're Beyond the Horizon. Amber Steel can get like Daisy, Piglet, Lady play another Piglet, Doc, or they can do like just get Rhino out really early. So I kind of just wanted to get my own high roll into the deck. Even Blurple gets to use Bell. So I put Bell back in, get a body on the board early to start trading, start controlling the board. It could mean some of these aggro decks don't get to turn sideways as much. And then you've got things like Fire the Cannons in there as well. That is pretty much the only answer to the Rhino shift line. And I think if you could stop the shift line, it makes it very awkward as they have to play it on 4. I think like there isn't many decks running Fire the Cannon, so I feel like you'd get a lot of games where they wouldn't do the thing of, play something that they don't mind getting Fire the Cannons on 1 and then on turn 2 double spell Cindy and a Rhino. I don't know. I just feel like the way people are playing it, no one's really playing around Fire the Cannons as much. I could be wrong, but I'm not particularly playing around it too much. I don't expect to see it, especially into Amber Steel I don't, and into Green Steel I don't. So yeah, I think Sapphire Steel is the only deck really. Maybe Purple Steel could have it, so maybe that's when you play around it. But for me personally, I don't see particularly too many people playing around it. And then you've got Arthur's in there. If you get Arthur, Cogsworth, and just keep playing Desperate Plans, draw cards, and then play a Doc as well, you get into some really good spots there. Of course, Arthur being a little bit more underwhelming than some of these Swarm aggro decks that like Amber Steel was like, mainly because it's just one big body on the board that can be either ignored or, frozen with a John Silver or frozen with Heffalumps and Woozles or something like that, or given Reckless by Lewis or something, so it's of course you're banking on a bigger character, but you can get him out, you can protect him, you can even heal him with the Popsicles, you can protect him with the Cogsworth, and he's pretty good. And if they ever take him out, you just unlock your draw power again. So yeah, overall, I don't mind this list. I think it's pretty fun. I think it still has a lot of good options, especially into the meta that I'm seeing a lot online. And then into like some of the more control-based decks, you can still just aggro and turn everything sideways and do your Alice Pluto line. I think maybe if I was expecting a lot more red decks, I'd find room for Gantus again in there. But yeah, right now I think that's pretty fine, and like just a version of Kiwi that I've been messing around with. This one is from Impact TCG. It's what started the idea. And yeah, it just looks like your standard like wheel whole new world like wheel list that you play for um Sapphire Steel. You've got loads of cool, like really cool ramp options in there. You've got like Pleakley and Mickey to kind of just like. I think using Quill, you of course have to you. I think you have to put Tamatoa in to get the hand size up. You've still got the whole new worlds there to like refill the entire hand, which has always been very good with Quill. But if you're not playing the Quill, you can of course just pay for these a bit more. I wouldn't call them slower ramp options because they're not. But you know, like Tipo, you've even got one Tipo in there. You've got Pleakley and you've got Mickey. So you'll ramp on 3 and then slamming down a big 5-drop. And the 5-drop slot is like really quite heavy. You've got Beast, Cogsworth in there, and then Amari. So you can always get to a good singer, get good line. One-off Ratigan, I think, is really cool because no one's going to play around a one-off Ratigan. Hades for all of the control versus the bigger decks. And like you've got Tinkerbell as well. Like I say, I think ramp to Tinkerbell is just huge, and you could probably against a lot of the Amber Steel do that classic, you know, ramp, play your 5-drop, sing, grab your swords, and Tinkerbell, and you probably do quite a lot of damage because if you think now, you wouldn't remove the daisies, no, but the piglets, pennies, you probably take the Smee out because that's only got 3 if it has no damage on it. Actually, you have quite a lot of targets for it, so I quite like a lot of what's going on this list. And then Pleakley is actually an insanely good body. You've got a couple strengths in there to start singing. You've got some like looters in there, which is also good with the Pleakley. Yeah, I just kind of like everything about it. It's that classic toolboxy style that you used to get from Sapphire Steel, where it's like just some one-offs in there, and then you play some 4Xs and some really consistent cards. I think the only thing I'd say is like I probably would want to play 4 bells because bell turn 1 is just so huge. But you've got like Simba in there, and you know, I don't think maybe in this build it's that horrible to miss bell turn 1 because your real like control happens when you get to big Tinkerbell and start slamming down bigger bodies. And the one-off Robin Hood, again, it's just like one-off things. You don't really know what to mulligan or what to play into. The only real thing you can think about is Tinkerbell, grab your swords, and there's a whole new world probably going to be coming up. But if you don't want a whole new world, like a bigger, more like a more aggressive deck, you've got Namari there to draw 1 and discard 1. So I think it's really cool. There's loads in there I like. And this is from Justin, the original creator of the Kiwi Bird deck in here, and he's you know, this was his ally based deck that he brought to the Inc Invitationals, the 10k. And yeah, it's just like I know he's kind of really wanted to push allies and hero based decks for a while. And yeah, again, it's that thing of the ramp is not overwhelming. It's Tipo and Pleakley, which allows you to get to Tinkerbell and Vincio, the 7 cost that's like just like a bigger Tinkerbell. There isn't really many fears for like Brawl or Medusa or Sisu, and in those matchups you just didn't get anyway. So you can just like consistently play a very strong mid-range game. You've got the Genie in there, he's pretty good for checking Diablos. And if you get your ramp on 2, then it's not like you've missed it with the Pleakley on 3. The Jasmine shift line, like it does end up giving you quite a strong hand advantage, and you get to filter and find the allies that you want. So you get things like Big Tinkerbell if you want it. Play your Bagheera, find your ramp because all of your ramp cards are allies. You know, you got Fire the Cannons in there and like a nice healthy amount of steel removal in the bottom right. So all around, yeah, I really like the list. You got Doc as well, so like you could Alice Quest and be like, well, I need the Tinkerbell right now, I don't need the Doc. Find the Tinkerbell, play her the next turn, or you could play the Doc and find a Doc because you need the card draw. And again, like I wouldn't really know how to play around this build too much. You know, and also she's set up as well because she's a 4 cost. She can sing the Zeus's for you if you need her to, just giving you more removal options. I really like it. Of course, like allies is the thing that they've been pushing quite heavily with the Sapphire Steel combo, so I really want to see that deck do a lot better than it has been. And maybe post rotation we drop a lot of the other cards. You know, the meta changes quite a bit. I think when Big Sisu comes out, cards like Jasmine is a 2/5 just probably could shine a bit more because you'd have to use bigger and different options. You can just right now, like with a lot of these mid-range decks, if you play against a control deck, they'll just ignore you, fully ramp because they don't know you're not going to race them and win. Fully ramp to Sisu, slam it down and take out pretty much all of your board. And of course Jasmine's only a 1 quester, so she's looking for that more like get advantage in the mid-range with getting you an ally that you want every turn, putting the ally on the board. And also as well, there isn't too many great allies. I think there's some, I mean, all of these allies seem very useful, But of course, there are lots that it's like the Vinso is like he's good, but right now he's a 2/8, and he's 7 cost. He's not amazing. Big Ear is not going to be amazing every spot. But I think as well, it's because it's Lorcana. As long as you find an inkable or you find a card that lets you draw a card like Doc, finding anything off Jasmine is great because you just don't shrink the hand as much. You get another inkable, you ink, and you get to preserve the hand. So yeah, I think all around this is really cool. Probably a very strong mid-range deck. Like I can't imagine Chernobogs or Ambersteel Aggro is going to have a good time into these decks. But the red decks probably would be quite a bad matchup and quite harsh. And I think Justin's been telling me that when he's been testing and playing this. Yeah, I think we've got one more left from Nels, who's like phenomenal Sapphire Steel wheel player. Always stuck with it, still on it, always around getting good results. And yeah, he stuck to a lot of the core of what made Sapphire Steel wheel very good. Using that Jim Hawkins shift package as well to get the wheel off. He stuck with the quill, he stuck with a lot of the basic things. And if you look at these, like none of these have dime in them. They've all gone fully on the mid range because after they hit the Fortisphere, they kind of took anything that worked. Like item package wise, like you can play Porpscore and Bell, and I think that's a really good high roll turn 1, especially as we get the steel songs to sing like Strength Form. You could use Let the Storm, but dropping the consistency kind of just made it sometimes like not worth the space because also these lists are very like tight on space. But here, like its only quill is the only item, so we could fit a lot more steel in there. Desperate Plans, Whole New Worlds. And it's just all cool really around. Like I think this just again smashes a lot of these aggro decks. If you were to get Robin Hood turn 1, play Jim Hawkins, quill and then ramp into a big Tinkerbell, or you could even shift it. You got Grab Your Swords. You got loads of like again just in the mid range. I don't see a lot of the other decks surviving. But the way Lorcana works is, I think this into a control-based deck, you'd struggle quite a bit. And maybe if you put manas in there, or maybe you found a way to use the diamond, like 1 or 2 aerials would be good as well. But overall, like this is all of the steel cards that I think Ambersteel Aggro would struggle against. I've played against Sapphire Steel Wheel a couple times, and yeah, you struggle into the ramp into an early Tinkerbell because what do? You don't have a Zeus. You need to get 5 wide, but they're attacking your board now, so getting 5 wide can be a bit of a struggle. So yeah, overall I just really like this build as well, just going fully in on the mid range, and almost I wouldn't say building it the way they want you to build it, because they want you to do the allies thing, but basically the Duel Link kind of taught us the way that they wanted the decks to be built in this game. But yeah, I like this because you just go fully on the mid range, stomping any of the aggro decks out, hopefully, with this build. 4 Jim Hawkins is pretty good into ramping and then maybe throwing out another Jim Hawkins, or even you could get the shift off and just run into a Daisy and then put the 1 damage on something relevant for the next turn. That's awesome as well. You could maybe hit it on a Mulan or something that has 1 health left, or against the green purple you can put it on a Merfolk, and then or just use it to maths up, because steel maths is big as well. Yeah, I think it's really cool, and definitely something I'd recommend trying out. But yeah, hopefully into set 8. Of course, my heart's sort of been set on Ambersteel right now. I've only really been trying out the Kiwi lists, but the wheel lists are still alive and everywhere. I think you can use Quill, Whole New World, and maybe Tamato and the Porp Schools and Bell. I think that's where I would start with it. Getting that whole item package in and just giving you other options to draw, because basically Ruby Sapphire Shark can do that, so why can't we do that as well? Having like our only real draw options are Tamatoa and Porpsicles, and also I think it's understated how great it is having Tamatoa on the board as a 4/5. Like it's a huge body, and it quests for 2. It's very awkward to remove, and like if you throw in a couple dimes, you could cheat them out for free maybe. And you've got so much like filter in these days, like you've got Mulan and Simba, and then you've got Namari you can try it as well. So yeah, I think all these lists are pretty cool. I'd recommend any of them, and I think I'd say for your store champs, like definitely you could bring one of these and win one. It'd be really cool to see some people, but of course I've always want to be honest on the channel and never say like sell you a fake dream or something. I think in a bigger event, like we haven't got any regionals, but if you're playing Axion or something like that has 3, 4, 500 plus people, I think you might struggle a bit more with these Sapphire Steel ramp decks. But overall, I think they're really cool. And yeah, I hope any of these ideas sort of inspired people, or maybe you still want to just pick it up and enjoy a Whole New World until it rotates out in set 9.